3, 2, 1.
Apostle Sello, we really warmly welcome you to CFC TV Media. As you know, moto kabatu, umtu gabantu, a man is a man with honors. If you want to engage with us, please subscribe, like, and share this video. If it's the first time, don't forget to ring the bell so that when you upload a new video, you'll be the first one to be notified. Today we are very happy, we are very privileged. Renale channel na khona le fetse haholo fela e hlompheile letsatsi la kasheno re na le mohlomphehi wa rona dipolitiking a bapetseng karolo e bohlokwa o servile Free State provincial legislature from 1999 until 2014, and is the former deputy provincial chairperson of the African National Congress since from 2001 and 2014. He has been a member of the provincial legislature from 1999 to 2014. He has been the member of the Free State Executive Council for Education as MEC Education from 2007, August and February 2009, under Premier Petrus Mashov. He has been the MEC Safety and Security since from 1999 to 2001 under Premier Winky Direko. He has been the MEC Agriculture since from 2005 April to 2007 August, still under Premier Petrus Mashov. Since from 1974, University of the North. 1976, I had seen a college Kwakwa. 1986, I got the tutor University of Zululand. University of Vets. I have Vets University. I got the tutor 2015. Kibua kama let's asilaga shino. Kibua kama shompe. Ndate Modise, Casca, Mokitlane. Ndatwaka, welcome to CFC TV Media channel.
No, thank you very much, and I would want to extend my greetings to those people, in fact, who are supporters of you. Yeah.
Really, what you could have to the channel, from Obana Motasana. Ya matshileng lebelo dipolitiki ya matshileng lebelo ka nnete re kutlwa re le motlotlo re hlomphile ngwane se mo mametseng teng ke a dumela le wena letsatsi la kasheno o ikutlwa le motlotlo o dula mona dula nka tea ya hao nka drink ya hao dula re tlo bana discussion e fruitful e monate letsatsi la kasheno re tlo tseba haholo ka ntate Modise Casca Mokitlane letsatsi la kasheno go bapetse role e feng ke role e sala ba pala dipolitiki ngohle ke role e feng a e bapetseng ke kopa o dule o na me maoto ka nnete modimo o tla o etsa hantle ntate wa ka ntwe mo pele ke le bala ke bona since 1994 New Democratic Dispensation o laba member ya parliament from 1994 to 1996.
Yeah, I'm a member of National Parliament and National Assembly, to be more precise, from 1994 up until February 1996.
That was one of the lines you were saying, it's a politiki province in Aronalina Cabo Parapa. That since from 2017 up until 2021, you were High Commissioner Ambassador go Singapore. So ke bona ba petse le karola ya bohlokwa mo esa ambassador ke mantso a feng ka buang ke a tseba so bua ntse ngata le tsatsi la ka sheko gore nane ke bona ba petse ile o laba wa emela na ya rona Africa borwa Singapore I think o bapetse karolo e bohlokwa empa pele re ka dintho tse ngata ntatwa ke kopa o re jwetse gore ntate Mokitlane ke mang o tswa kae o kene sekolo kae ke nana ba mamedi mo ke tsente ba ka thabela o tseba gana ntle ntate ba mangata ba mo tseba ka Casca ha ba bua ba ntate Casca Mokitlane o ka reng fela ho motho a sa o tsebeng ntate Mokitlane ke mang o tswa kae o kene sekolo primary kae high school kae o kene sekolo kae ntatwa
Ntate Mokitlane o tswalwa mona Vredefort mo Kwalo ka 1969 ha qeta ho pasa mona mo Vredefort Bantu Community School ine re bitswa di Bantu ka nako tseo wila tsamaya lo kena sekolo ko Everton September High School mare o ne a se a dutse 2 years a sa kene sekolo ka morao hore a pase standard 6 ho no sna di high school mo Vredefort
kana ko e
ka ke tla kuno go Everton ke lwetsana the 2 years became important for me because in yona ya o raise the funds by working as a gardener. Etolan 3 ranta ka kgwedi.
3 rand?
3 ranta ka kgwedi. Ya bokeletsa 30 rand ka mora 2 years. Ya ikisa sekolong September High School. Ya pasa ka 1973 ya complete matric. Ka 1974 ke ile ka ya Teflopo ile hore most of the people, despite the fact that I did not have the funds to go to the university, urged me hore ke ye university because I could not, drop the talent. They thought I was intelligent, so I can't just drop out. So bekia mono mo Teflopo. That year again, 1974, kia di Frelimo rally because Mozambique gets its independence in 1974. With the leaders of the time, Unpacking, with the current president, Cyril Ramaphosa, and a number of others, Bonefolo Vodwe, and mostly those who belonged to the Black Consciousness movement. It was there at Teflop where I was conscientized to realize ore bophelo bo re bophelang re le batho ba batsho ha se bophelo bo tshwanetseng re bo ananele. We have in fact to put some resistance to those who have actually defined or re phele ka tsela eo ya hore re be makgoba a system ya apartheid. Ka mora mono he ka 1974 ha unfairly, and I want to emphasize it, people don't know that hore o pass ko university that time, especially how no yetsa the degree tse tshwana le tsa bo BCom, tsa bo science and other things. It was a difficult task because we not only the quota tse beilweng ke the system of apartheid or ho pass babakana. I should have passed with flying colors in 1974, my first year, when they told me to hore ke feitse ntho tseo ke tsebang hore ke kene ka di ema ka tsa bo 71 tsa bo 67 tsa bo 69. I decided hore I'm no longer going back to school, to the university or to education again. Yaba ki batla mosebetsi ka lo isebeletsa mare in Robben 1975 ka 1976 when the system of apartheid in hanela hore ke bane le permit ya ho dula mo Everton ya ba ke nka qeto ya hore ke ye sekolong ko tsia College of Education ke be teacher o bane ma teacher ane ana le better chances of freedom of movement. It could allow me to stay in Everton instead of coming back to Fredeford. So Bekia could see, unfortunately, I couldn't finish because I was at Sia College on the 6th of March, 1976, when the schools had already opened, but they accepted me on the basis of my results. Principal Amu. I stayed only 3 months, Motsi, 3, up until June 16. When the time came for June 16, I asked a pertinent question. For the future generation ya bana ba sekolo ba tla re ne re le kae ka 1976 if we do not give support to the event and say we agree with them, Africans should not be a medium of education. But in essence, we were saying re khathetse ke bantu education. So I led the protest, Kotsia. And then we were arrested, nearly 13 in number. 8 were acquitted, and then 2 were turned into state witnesses. And then I was accused number 1. My second accused just died 2 years back, Enes Malite from Kronstadt. And the other one was General Kingema, who was with the coming back of people here in South Africa about 90s, early 90s. He was a general in the Air Force, in South Africa. That's where I ended. But then, I always yearned for education. La ke se ke tswile ke se ke o sekolong ko Botsia bo eng ha ke khutla ko Robben Island, I said to myself ke tshwanetse ke kene privately ke kene sekolo le bo UNISA here and there, some subjects kene sekolo le bo CUT here and there, number of subjects. Kikene Skolo, after my return from prison, go Zululand, get what they called Diploma in Data Processing and Systems Analysis. In short, that is what they called computer programming. From 84 to 86 when I completed. That's part of my education, and then I took advantage of the program government in the area, those who are in the legislature and important places in government. Really far an opportunity or a so I took advantage of that, and then started in fact this program. Empowering those who are like us, members of the legislatures, members of government structures, administration. So, Kikenimunu. Then, Kafmana, my first diploma here, Levetimunu, Katwal Lapini, Kaita second, Kaita postgraduate diploma, which is equivalent to an honors degree in management, which I passed in 2015. That's how far I have gone ka thuto le sekolo.
Ntate wa ka ho bonahala hona ne e sa lo rata thuto, you loved education ho ya bonahala. And hona ntho e buile, in other words, from 1974 you were politically conscious ha o fitla University of the North Chafluop ke mo tabeng ena ya dipolotiki la nka serious ena. And o thaishe taba hore nane you were arrested and you went to Robben Island. E ka ba ha o no ya Robben Island ntate wa ka o ile nako e kae ko Robben Island nako eo o spendile nako e kae, and Robben Island e bile jwang ho wena, ke ntho tse fentse o ithutileng tsona ha o no le Robben Island?
Mohlompe, I have to say hore ke ile nako e lekanang le lemo tse 5 Robben Island charge yaka e ne le ya sabotage. Robben Island ha re ya mono ke ne ke nahana hore ke tronko e hlabosang hobane ne ke tseba hore ho na le baetapele ba hlomphuwang ke lefatshe ba kwaletswe mono. So ha ke ya mono ka 1976 solidarity struggle saka as a teacher in training, I understood no, I'm going to have a life e betere ho feta trongo tenente ke tsama tsa bo Bethlehem tsa bo Kronstadt. But I was disappointed to find Robben Island, even the food which I ate at the prison, some other prisons, including the one in Cape Town, Victor Festen, dijo tsa teng di ne di le ntle ho feta tse ko Robben Island. I was also disappointed to find whilst re kwalletswe re le batho ba batsho, and then amongst us re na le people who are black in terms of a definition, but they are colored in terms of the divisive nature. Yeah, categorizing us. Colored. We used to get separate or different food, types of food. Baneba fumana dijonyana tse beterunyana, rona re fumana tse class ho bona. But that was the system of apartheid. And on Robben Island, we had 4 political movements. At that time, it was the ANC. Over time, became bigger. The first people to go on Robben Island, Kibatuba Pan-Africanist Congress, PAC, even earlier than Mandela and the others. They almost resided there, and then many of them, in fact, were taken and sentenced to death at 1963, 1964. Before Mandela was fitla. So those 4 political parties, parties, indeed, they lived side by side, understanding that they have one common struggle, despite the differences. In terms of their vision, in terms of their views or perspectives with regard to how to prosecute the struggle, Sabatoba, South Africa. And then I must say, that setup, Leona, it really problematizing Kabakala, ki ANC, ki PAC, ki Black Consciousness Movement, which most of us, by 1976, students who came into prison belonged to that philosophy, Black Consciousness. And I was part of that. And then the Ononali Unity Movement, what they call Unity Movement. But amongst these three, there were tensions because bane ba bona hore bana ba dikolo ba tshwana le gona la bile se ke le mogolonyana ke itutela bo teacher ke mo go tshwanetse re fumane masole a go sala. So that generated tension between PAC and ANC, but at the same time, the Black Consciousness movement, Leona, in a battle, or it's a hold on, or and then Robben Island, Dijo, they were not the best. And at that time, who knows not the television? Who knows not the newspapers? Teli di thola. In the 80s. Mandela didn't have the privilege to get the newspaper, and all other prisoners who were there before us, so what we did, Rona, as the 76th Battalion, we had some instances or haretswela kantle ho tenota mo sebetsa le tlose di kgwere ka mo metsing ka mo lewatleng kapa le tse di tsela mono mo Robben Island e tla be re matha re ya totinya di wadala ha ho joa motsheare re docha ba babedi o so ulong ka di kuranta totimong kuranta tseno. Then I was very good in Afrikaans throughout, even in Lekontong, Kotsepotemba. Ane ke ngola motlotlo ka Afrikaans, uno balwa parity o re le di matriculants di utlwe
ne ka o le no bua Afrikaans jwale ka re
bua Afrikaans tse ka puo ya ka, and ne ke rata Afrikaans. It's a beautiful language. It's only problem no, those people in fact who originated the language wanted to impose it on other sections of the population. So it's a problem. So now, together with a guy called Leslie Seleka from the University of Western Cape and NS Malete, my co-accused, would then take those newspapers which has been smuggled into the cells, translate them from Afrikaans into English.
When you translate them, when you translate the leaders,
illegally,
the leaders legally, you translate the leaders in a way, or send a DDT, baita pilobaluna tronco, kappa enele mutumo lumo, agara tronco, hanele translator, the newspapers.
Neredi translator everybody who is in prison, including those who resided, ko B section, mono do not want that Mandela, including those who in A section, mo no dula batho ba Black Consciousness movement Booster Universa Mutli bone follow vodwe bonkwenkwenko mo Bosets Cooper Bozitile Tindi, and a number of those leadership ya Black Consciousness movement. But equally so, Neredi translated FNG section, mo no duna. The other cream, ya struggle arona from all political parties, the PAC and the ANC and Unity movement, and some of the Black Consciousness movement. Neredi translated, but Batswana de bo ntate Zuma ba ne ba dula ka mono, bo Steve Tshwete ba ne ba dula ka mono. We translated that at the night under those difficult conditions. Take another is of punish, and then be ready smuggle. di tsamaya di ya mono di tsamaya ka pizza ya motogo. Yeah.
That was a risk because Sojan Ballet's very orders by then. Punishment it could have been severe.
Yeah.
Then we let into Boshokwa, our nearly 10. And nearly before
18.
Nearly 13.
Yes.
Unalaba be developed by Batena into state witnesses.
Yeah.
Hashan alone.
Yeah.
Ikalo watseba gonane ba ba bidi ba ile ba Batena against Lona. Olana kopana le bona ba ntse ba phela. Una le idea ona no etsa etseng ka bona.
Yeah, the other one I had an idea and I even visited him in Natal, Mwana Pelating. Hansekele University, ya Zululand. I was told by some lecturer there that he knows the person. And the other one, well, anyway, fate would not let him leave. Haga khona go kopana le ena when I came back. Yeah, he passed on. But I would not have held a grudge against them because the system at that time would subject you to such torture and beatings that you can't say everybody will be able to resist that. Many of the people, including those in fact who carried weapons in order to liberate us, were subjected to such torture. Uno keke wai mamela ke hopola one guy Linda, he was from Soweto, ke battalion ya rona 1976. Utlile ka trongo ba mo robile meno ka tang. Ora abue and all that. Even the liberation movement in the form of the ANC, in a era, we understand or no, not everybody will be able to resist, but you must resist enough to allow other people, bao sebetan le bona, if you are in one cell, ba khona ho baleha. And then maybe when you break, at the time they will be far, some outside the country. That's how it was.
No. For Lona kanako eo. Jale potse re tla tama botsa gore ne le kopana le baetapele ba rona like bo Nelson Mandela, Rivonia Trialist, ne le khona go kopana le bona kara kapa ne le sa khona go bonana hantle. Ke yona because ke a utlwa bua ka di sections. Ka di sections potso ya ka gore fela ne le khona go bona ba leaders like Sisulu, Oliver Tambo, Nelson Mandela, ne le khona go kopana le bona. 5 years in years at Robben Island. If in a kopana le bona ka tsela e jwang.
Unfortunately, during our time, uno sa tlameha ho kopana le bontate Mandela le bontate Sisulu. Uno sa tlameha ho kopana le batho ba FNG section bo Steve Tshwete, bontate Mewa and the others. Uno sa tlameha ho kopana le bona because aba batle hore ho bane le ntwe ne re bitsang cross pollination ya di ideas. Rona re dule re le jwalo ba fitlang se ra tseba haholo. Ho nona le mo Namibia bo Toivo ba ne ba dula teng. Ba ne ba na le section ya bona mona e ne bitswa D section. Le bona ne re sa tlameha ho kopana le bona.
Ke ba feng ba tswang ka ntle. Ba Namibia ka ba le ba ada
no ba tswa Namibia ba kwalwa ka one side because at that time Namibia was still under the rule of South Africa. Okay. And then bana ba tla re ba tla ruta haholo bona bontate Zuma ka mono bona bo Steve Chwete ka mona bona bo Kenny Ndlovu ka mona ba tla re ruta haholo so ha ga tlameha go kopana le bona jwalo mara ke tswile mona e se le gore no go na le event tse tshwarwang ha selemo se tlo fela tsao cultural events mo tlo bapalang bo soccer bo rugby and others we could actually challenge them lo bapala le bona ka mo but not bo Mandela no bona no sna mo kopana le bona kapa mo re kopanywan le bona ke maemo ne re ba bona fela ha ba feta mane e le gore nane ba lo bapala sports ma tla be re me le tsere matheka re kibane o le ke Sisulu o le ke Mandela that's how
bana ba etsetsa gore nane information e ska tsamaya e ska matha wa e tla khosa mathata datoka ke nana gore nane le ka nnete le sebedi a ke tsebe ke be ka tsile jwang ile bophelo le bo phetseng bone bo se bobebe la o no le Robben Island o no le jwalo ho no se bobebe tronko ne se bobebe mare re utlwile ke nana hona jwale go re fela re phomolong ha re khutla phomolong re tla re tlo bua hore nane itse ha o tswa tronko o tswa Robben Island o la ya ka ho la etsalang pele democratic dispensation e fitla 94 what happened is alo o tswa Robben Island ho fitla before 1994 o no ntse etsa eng ho no etsa halang ka bophelo ba hao ba eso re tla khutla se re khutlile ba eso ke tshepa hore na mo dutsitseng tse le dutsile re mametse ka noma phodinyana ka cold drink ya hao and we enjoy a conversation e re na le yona le ntate Modise Casca Mokitlane ntate wa ka ha se re khutlile tsena ke rata o tshokere itse o no le Robben Island o tsore 1976 o botswa 1981 ke batla o tseba from 1981 up until 1994 itse ha o tswa o la ya ka involvement ya hao e la ba efe o la tswella pele ka the strike kapa hona le mo la khefutsa ba ema teng o etsa itseng o bapetse role efe from 1981 up until 1994 ya dikgethong tsa New Democratic South Africa o no lo ka what was your involvement
ki le ka dula ka tlameha ho ya qwaqwa hobane the system of apartheid ha ke khutla would not allow hore I should go to Everton monne ke rata ho dula teng I would not have wanted to come to Freeford baba re no your mother o go qwaqwa o nyetse go qwaqwa you must go and stay there not oska khutela mo valem ntwetsa etseng gore na no when I went back home in 1982 because one other thing which I have not discussed and mentioned a profound which happened in prison after interacting with great leaders Bondate Herigwana together with the group eo ane atshwere diona ya Bondate Kgalema Motlanthe ya bo Stanley Nkosi who was at one stage in the Central Committee ya South African Communist Party Bos Bundebele, Bo Dr. Mashamba, yeah. At that time, they had a great influence in terms of what they knew struggle. Because whilst Bos Trinivasa Mundli Libo left the Black Consciousness Movement, BCM, in my hands, le LTD Molala, Relekamo E-section. le bo ets dukumbana, while by the letlasala le protector the interest tsa rona as a black consciousness movement more section, so that we should not lose our members to ANC or the PAC. There was a move on the part yabo ndate Khalima Mokitlane le bona bos Bundebele hore nane Norman. We must actually convince this group, because it's a fertile group, yabana ba school, hore no, the cause e ba tshwanetse ba e latele ke ena e eteletseng pele ke ANC. So they approached us as the leaders the Black Consciousness Movement in East Section. Ba kopa hore nane no re bane le ntwene o tweng joint political discussions. And then eventually, on behalf of the members of BCM, Banebalika East Section, we agreed that we can have such joint political discussion, especially after they compromise bona bo Ntate Khalema, because they did not accept when there's a political movement ebitswang BCM. We said, if you don't recognize BCM as a political structure, then we are not going to join you in these joint political discussions. And then they came the following day, they compromised, they said, no, it's fine, BCM exists. And they started exchanging books and information.
And ideas.
And ideas that struggle. I remember they supplied us with a number of books. This one about theory of knowledge, party philosophy, the origin human beings or mankind, and a number of books. And I was at that time a very avid reader. And then, but when you read, you don't see what's happening. You gradually change. It changes you. You become a better person or a worse person, depending on what you are reading. And then I found myself Joale ke se ke questioner. The Black Consciousness Movement, because they were giving us really Marxist literature, Bo Frederick Engels, Bo Rosa Luxemburg, Bo Karl Marx, Bo Engels, and all that.
So, come on, Maxa, can you man, come on, Zaman, in the Nimola, or Nani, Le Cabala de Bucazzi, Robben, and in the Campa, Nidis Magilo.
Dinedis Magilo. Sometimes no such a taller book, not a taller notebook, and was in Galetoma, and was in Buka Yenuka. So Barfatona, so gradually, my mind was transformed. I began to challenge some of the concepts, and then the way forward. About Black Consciousness Movement, about PAC, and all that. And I finally took a decision. I think it was in 1980 to say, man, I'm going to join. When I couldn't get answers to the questions which I raised, I said, no, man, let me leave. So I left there. Yeah, in fact, I led Boom Pumelelo Odolo, Boom Mokitlane, Boom Leslie Leka, Boom Lubis, and others. when I left, they left with me to go and join the ANC in prison. And it was an offense to join a political party in prison.
o sa kenang ka yona
Leo affiliated to you are not supposed to be part of that. You are supposed to be an individual.
yeah
So, I remember Ntate Khalima Montante, I must come and work in the underground. Ya ANC ha ke tamo. Ibile re be re fana le bitso la DD as my underground name. DD. So, ka 1982, ha se ke fitlile he mo, o fitlile Ntatona o ne ile executive mayor ya Valemo Simon Fuke atla go nna go qwaqwa a re o rometswe ke ANC hore a tlo di pamphlets and other things tse tshwanetse ke di distribute mo qwaqwa Simon Fuke. I didn't know him, but they had a way ANC ba sebetsang ka teng. So that's how I again began to be involved. And then I worked around the ke fepa batho ka tsebo yaka what the struggle is about. Some friends jwalo. And then I went to university. I fitla university ke kopane le lecturer engwe ne ba rena no ke Sithole. Inele lecturer ya mathematics. He involved me in the activities. That's where I was able to meet Ntate Lechisa Tsenudi because Unaduna Kunu, Ntate Bekikele and the others. Recebeta Nane Kiamono Kadi weekend early Ntate Jabusiton one lecturer in your mathematics. Nikiamono Kadi weekend. Versama Bolamon Ville Bokai, they were always organizing, always speaking to people, always showing them. So, ke petele bona mono ka tsele jwalo. Ha ke se ketso. Ke keta mono. I'm recruited ke the computer company Koranbek by Bita Information Technology Services. It was one of the companies in the billing systems. Zabo Maspala. They recruit me nakili mo department in finance mo the old homeland government. I was writing programs. Disability Kobo. Writing programs for teacher salaries, official salaries, pensions for the old age and all that, creditors, a number of things. So they recruit me. When I go to Jobe, I was there for 2 weeks. And then I got a visit from Rapu Mulekane. He's been an ambassador, for some time. Unadula Monomo CWJ, Central Western Jabavu. Atlilele Sam Shilowa. I didn't know the two. But Lebona Banebatlilele standing course, which I knew from prison. And then the brother, Yahai, naturally. The four just located me, how I don't know. And then they said, well, anyway, we have been requested to come and integrate you into the underground structures, the ANC Mona Soweto, the Gauteng. So that's how I began to participate. Mono, I was there organizing those big meetings, go the stadium, Liverpool, Buthelezi. Lately he became Pule Mbambo and Boshalefa. I used to stay, fortunately, one of the people in the in the same suburb. Dobsonville, the former premier, Yamo Northern Cape, in a pillar Sebeta Lerona, and a number of us. And then now I was the only one working because Neginale, and I was the only one, Ananali Kolui. And I used to use that car in a collector, weapons. They don't say MK members. MK members would come and take the car. Yeah. How about Kitile? By Kenya, the tire by service by it and Totino. And then maybe Lord Batama, by a student, it's on the board, Ramatabama, by a more the dead letter boxes to go and retrieve the weapons. Then she put in about to bad Twangan. Onamo Pilabo Musa, but didn't get into her. But the Kenya Koluim, Bateletona had a feature. Then some of us distribute those AK-47s and others. Onamo commemorating among IMK.
I think that work is the civilize democracy. We need to honor you lesser pain. I think you must be honored lesser pain. We are free today. South Africa is free today. You fought for the struggle and you were willing to die for the struggle. Others died for this struggle that we are enjoying today, democracy that we are enjoying today. That was in our parliament. We 1994 from 1994 to 1996. We member parliament and who parliament in Canada, former President Nelson Mandela. In the president of the country. The process will be the we told us all parliament, national parliament for 2 years. Was a good day. And how was it? Was a parliament in Nagoya, our former president?
Yeah, it happened here at some stage, then I should decide. Or get to serving 14 offices at Soweto. Get a computer networking. Ke sebetsana le di application programs tsa bona. Ke ba hlalosetsa le go system e sebetsa jwang. When they didn't pay me and then started paying whites more than and I'm from the university and I'm a matriculant. I left Atlamu. And I fit a mood there because they were offering me a position here, data controller. Yeah, in computer system. And then we get joiner the branches of the ANC as they were being established. Kika ho ki phumaneng hore naneno how so o fitla nako ya ho nominate batho ba tlameileng ho lo serve in the first legislatures and first national parliament, both at the level ya National Assembly le yena e khetwang, I'll remember it now, ka iphumana ke kentswe ke mokgatlo mono, and then it was a great privilege, I must say. I must be part, coming from a small place like this one, Frederford, or give me part of the history-making group of people in the first democracy. And at that time, the ANC had what we call creme de la creme. Creme. People who were well educated.
Quality leadership. Quality, yeah.
When you listen to the debates, and they had the educational qualifications to be like that. They were real quality. And then if you go back and look at the debates which took place at that time, you'd greatly be impressed. I don't want to talk about our president. I don't want to talk about Deputy President Mbeki. I don't want to talk about Mundate Steve Chwete and others. They were formidable. Baneba Sakena was struggling because they wanted money. They wanted to be rich. They wanted to empower their families. Baneba Kene was struggling simply because they want to liberate themselves and us as people from the difficult things that's onto him. And then I was recalled into the ANC Provincial Executive Committee in 1996 to say I must come and be the deputy chairperson of the Free State Development Corporation, to lead the process of transformation in that entity. Whilst I was any less at that time, in Parliament,
yeah.
And this would be less because of the nature of our commitment and our understanding of the struggle at that time. I sacrificed that.
And today it's difficult for people to sacrifice that because now it's politics of the stomach. So it's really, things are different now. Hadisa one of those times now going alone and creamer leadership and quality leaders in terms of so no givana ifapani, people are there now for their own stomach. It's an trezana. But it's out of Free one. You are a member of provincial legislature from 1999 up until 2014. Let's say up until 2009 as a member of ANC. What can you say the experience? How was the experience? Legislation since official legislation in 1999 up until 2009. The experience in Elijwan. Because it was 9 years, Arashabafman spent 9 years on the legislation. Before maybe we appoint Tatamana to work at the MEC, the portfolios are appointed as MEC. But can you give us the experience? Tell us the experience of legislation itself. Since from 99 up until 2009.
Iriki Kepe, what you have raised about being selfless, almost struggling. In 1998, we have another program at ANC. In Hutri, give out anima weitu. Itlile ka Deputy President Mbeki, or let me say, Jan, he was still the Deputy President. That votanima weitu, I was requested the Provincial Executive Committee at ANC to say, go and lead that program. At the time, I called it to Free State Development Corporation. ke ne ke kgola 14,000 ka kgwedi
1998.
1998. And then ka 1998 I was lead that program in Ufafela allowance at 6,000. I was prepared, and I went to my wife because I had said if I have to make a choice, Monefati, to die for the struggle or to die for the cause of the ANC, I will die for the cause of the ANC. Mono bane bamfa 6,000, a gap year 8,000 monthly. I'm married, I've got children, but I took it. And the program was a success. I would want then to emphasize that, Ori. It's not about yourself. It's about the people you lead. What was that question which you asked me before I digressed more?
Yes, I wanted to check the experience. Yeah, how
Yeah.
legislation since 1999 up until 2009. How was it? In the Juang experience, how sebetsa le leaders, the ANC and the community at large. I just want to check the experience. Rest of the portfolio of MEC will come to that one. But the experience here since 99 up until 2009, how was it? Honorable Juang sebetsa legislature, those leaders.
Oh, I must say it was very interesting because at that time, many of the people were still not yet defocused from the real issues, the liberation, to the issues, the corruption. They were really for this. Sometimes it might not have been that they knew substantively what they are doing. Like some of us who have had years of political education in Robben Island and other places. But it was very interesting for the first years. But in 2009, you say up until 2009, by that time, I had realized the anomalies in the course of the struggle. I had realized them. Or people baba haba genuine. People baba tawi pepper. And bablela batho maka. That's why a process of rebellion ile ya kala hunga place around those periods from 2005 sorry, not 2005 yeah
2009
yeah 2007 yeah 2007 process ya rebellion began to creep in me because batho ba ne ba ja tšhelete ya mmuso re patala dibese tse sa sebetseng re patala di-taxi tse sa sebetseng and all that. And then that's why ka 2007 I was still part of this honest President Mbeki, not the others. That's why I drifted away to the extent that I said in 2009, with the things that I resign. And when I resigned in 2009, I was not going anywhere. I was going home. Keep know what I have fought for. It's not this which I see. I'd rather go and stay there with my wife and kids. As to how I will survive, God will provide. That's what I said to myself. So it became difficult as we went forward.
That is why we got 2009. You resigned from the ANC, you joined the Congress of the People. But we give before Reclamo, since 1999 and 2001, all appointed as MEC was safety and security in the province. And 2005, 2007, I think about education and as well issue agriculture. You served 3 portfolios, which is safety and security, MEC education, and MEC agriculture. How was the experience? Because I can see you served the one under Wingidi Reko and the other one you served it under Betis Marshall. So how was the experience serving those portfolios under those leaders? How was the experience?
It was different. I think Beatrice Marshall, if I have to talk about it at some stage, I think she tried her best to make government work. If I go back to Winky Direko, who appointed me in 1999, as you say, which is 2001. One of the other things, because I hate corruption, I suspended hate Yamaponesa. And then Me Winky brought him back.
While you were still there?
I get them suspended with the powers that they sendily devolved to the MECs. I was using those powers. He said, no, I'm retaining this person and I'm taking all the powers. Say in terms of the Public Service Commission, Elenzaka, Maradine di devolve before. Yeah, so it was not a nice experience. Utileuna aitlanan tate Mokitla. Wena le anabutelezi le Tate Makwe. Hotikile suspend. Sorry, hotikile ntsembo MEC. And you know what, my difficulty I have to carry out the instruction and give you. And I must actually say, keep me wing. It's difficult for me because you are the only MEC. Okay, before we go to the Executive Council meeting, you'd have read everything, input more on the agenda. I will miss you, but I can't do anything. But it was also not true because nearly factional decisions that are not implemented. So I went back to the legislature and then I worked as an ordinary person more.
And I can see since Outlaws at 2001, there was a gap up until you were appointed again in 2005. So 2002, 3, 4, you were in the legislature, but me Betis Marshall for la premier. Our appointed at 2005.
And appointed 2005.
As MEC education.
Yes.
So,
as MEC agriculture.
Sorry for that. As MEC agriculture.
Yeah.
So how was the experience? Because there was a gap of 3 years. Being an executive, non-executive member, not executive, outside the executive, you come back to the executive, it's a new premier. What is, if I think the difference between these two premiers in terms of their leadership? Ogaring, Beatrice Marshall and Winky Direko. If so, I don't want to say compare them in a way, but in terms of leadership style, what can we say? How so differentiate between the two leadership styles? as you worked under them?
Yeah, within that gap, before Keba MEC 2005, I also became the chief whip of the ANC within the legislature. Mare membership, kena at least in trainer or no. Re batho, re lo hlalosetsa batho. She was committed to it, and ona se committed to it loba mamela fela. Hana khuka mono, ona le ntho tse itseng. Ona khukela mo kabineteng ya hae, kapa executive councileng ya hae. I can't know when I shebana le ntho itseng, when I shebana le ntho itseng. It was a positive engagement, le battles. And the membership, I don't think she has been part of corruption, because I remember the last meeting in 2007 before Alo defeatwa kwa Polokwane. She called it because she was really committed to President Beki because of the values which President Beki upholds. And I remember that on that day, I was the chairperson of the proceedings when Beki came to address us there. So, wabona hore nana ke motho ana sa rate corruption. Mara ona rata mosebetsi. And why ke tjho jwana? Go tika to ona sa kentse ntate o mong hore ebe yena head ya agriculture politically in the province. After a few months, abona motona kentse letsogo mo di khomong a fana le ka di khomo di into tse kantse yaba wa motlosa o re ntate Mokitlane come and take over. That's the difference with yena. And then ha ka ba dula na go etelile a bona hona no hona le problem mo education. None of man about 50 something, 60 something, about 64% there, I think. Aban lata kana no troke. Ultraga khwedi.
Because ke a bona o la re shafola. I would look at 27 out closer. Agriculture with education up until 2009.
Yeah. And the result go I don't know. 2009 had he announced a matriculants. I had got 70.6 for the first time in the Free State. And then the teachers were there. They were always good. They were always qualified. They only needed somebody to care for them and to motivate them to do the work. 70.6. So, Mashoff was a different personality, a different premier. It's unfortunate that age catches us. And she couldn't live forever, but she was good, I must say. And then she was not factional. When she doesn't agree with you, she doesn't agree with you. Yeah.
No, rather when you served us very well in the province. I think after you medication yaba take mago onka over mufute mago yaba onka jwale yaba scale silula senyelo from your 70.6 yaba senyelo o fitla 90 something and it's a shapa pere state is the number 1. So ke mosebetsi o mo o la o sia so ntate thedi mago mufute mago a sebeletsa o di mago.
In fact, the former Premier Free State, Yena Ntwan, Ace Mahashu, used to say, the person who laid the basis in that Mokitlane, I don't want to indulge in that. But He was one of the best. Yeah.
The other thing, you worked so hard for the African National Congress. What made you to leave the organization in 2009 and join the Congress of the People? So what was the main reason? Because you went to Robben Island, you were work underground, and worked for the organization so hard, but you decided that 2009 to say, you know what, I'm tired now. I don't know, I want to be part and a member of the African National Congress. You joined the Congress of the People. What made you to leave the organization that you worked so hard for, and you joined the Congress of the People? What made you to leave the ANC and join the Congress of the People?
Simply put, it was the levels of corruption which I saw emerging. I said I would not be part of this. I knew that I could control myself, but I never knew that in the struggle to liberate our people, we were going to steal, as it was apparent. A number of things, including in my own department, education. I had actually asked the Premier Mashov, who agreed to commission a forensic report in education. That forensic report. And then I don't know what it found out. So I said, no, let me leave this thing. I don't entertain corruption. I went home to Kwatwa to go and stay with my family. But the thing, Ntatele Kota knew me. I remember that at one stage on Robben Island, both of us were taken to the single cells. Naliena. And then she knew me from the Free State. She knew me hanyane because I had discussed his intervention in 1974. Ha ane a resuscitator, the South African Students Organization. Kamora hore naneno e thole from 1972 after the killing Yatir. There was that lull between 1972 and 1974. In 1974, he had to come to Teflop to revive Sasso. That's where I came across these others, Bontati, current president and all that. So we used to play Nerende chess Kadi Pampir. Aleka Silingena Bapala chess baby. And try to move this pawn, move this one, move this one. It was an interesting spectacle because we were fighting against the warders on that particular day. And then happened when Ntatele left the Black Consciousness Movement, his colleagues, Bosset's Cooper, to go and join the ANC. And then he was supposed to be transferred now. Aisueko B section. Alodula Lebontate Mandela. I don't know I'm the only one, but I know that he called me. Akopa permission mo administration ya Trongo to meet with me before he goes over. I'm leaving the Black Consciousness Movement. I'm joining ANC. And then I looked at him, I told him, well, anyway, there's nothing which demands of me at the present moment to follow you into the ANC. I'm comfortable. Black consciousness movement philosophy. So he knew me from that. So I can say ANC. I didn't go straight to go and join COPE. He meets with me and say, no, you can't do that. You must come to this organization. It has got a lot of people who are dissatisfied with the way the ANC does things at the present moment. And some of them are people substantially who have contributed to the struggle. So, join. That's how I joined the COPE.
All right. Now, you served COPE as the leader of the opposition, go Free State Legislature, provincial legislature. But you left them. You served, I think, for 5 years. 2014, you left COPE. You rejoined the African National Congress. What happened? What made you to rejoin the African National Congress again?
Yeah, the thing is that ideas, idea strong you can't, because how it's a you are going to be a dictator. So I like throughout my life that he was eloquent, very convincing, very passionate about the struggle. But over time, when he thought that now he's a Kiena fail, and then on this particular day, he was even refusing me to speak as a national leader, COPE, in a meeting of the National Executive Committee. And then this, coupled with the rift in Unpacking, unending, which actually stifled the growth of COPE to a large extent. When he did that, I stood in the NEC meeting there. I took my documents and I went out. And then both Smarts and the others, both Julie Killian, Bukorenhoff, they phoned me on my way back from Gauteng, where the meeting was held. Kikela Bloemfontein. Comrade Casca, what is happening now? Are you leaving? Then I said, well, I'm leaving. But where are you going to? Because I know I'm going to join the devil I know. Than this one. This one is becoming strange, becoming dictatorial. One of the things that's in is for him to chair the meeting. Because he dominates the discussions. He refutes everything. He doesn't allow the free flow of the ideas.
I think maybe that's what caused, COPE to die natural death as a political organization. And after you came back to the ANC, there was a lull moment, if I can say, 2014. But something happened in 2017. I believe you became the High Commissioner, you became the ambassador. Yeah, South Africa go Singapore. What happened there? Because I think we left 2014 and 2017, the ANC recruited you to be the ambassador go Singapore. But what happened in the 3 years that, were you still involved in the ANC for that 3 years before you were appointed? And after the appointment, how was the experience as ambassador of Singapore, of South Africa when you were in Singapore? as the High Commissioner?
I must indicate this. When I rejoined the ANC in 2014, together with Ramatlakane and the others, Lebo Smarts and what, part of what was said by the leadership of the ANC through the Secretary General at the time, Kwele Mantashe, was that comrades, some of these comrades now who are coming back from coup are experienced comrades. Find a way of involving them in the affairs of the ANC, in the building of the ANC. Find a way, if there's anything available in government, because some of them have got the necessary qualification, assist them to be deployed in government so that they can bring that experience Yabona to the fore. And many of them, Bo Juliki, Liene, Bo Kuren, Hofo, Bo Smarts and the others, they were Boramatlakane in their provinces. They looked after them, and they enabled them to engage with the affairs of the organization, but also with the affairs of governance. Now, in the Free State, I had this discord. The then Premier is Mahashu. And typical of him, he wanted to see, as he did with many others, you struggle and go down without help. I stayed for the 3 years after 2014 with nothing, until there were resistance among some of the members of his provincial executive committee, because I was sitting there in court, who began to say, no, you must allow something for that man. And when the opportunity came by advertiser for ambassadorships throughout the world, I was called by the Secretary of ECI to say, they say, maybe you should apply. Yeah, the positions. And the chief, meaning the Premier, is also open for you to apply. And then he will talk to you. I talked to him after a day or two. And then he encouraged, no, apply. And then I applied. I went there, I trained. And then I was then deployed to Singapore. The important thing about Singapore deployment is that it is this prestigious deployment within DERCO. It's like being deployed in London, New York, and what. It was very interesting because having stayed at home for 3 years, and this thing happens to you.
Yeah.
But it was good. But I nearly also did not go there because all these prestigious postings do have competitors. And I had to stay up until 3 to 4 months when all other people had actually been sent to their postings. Their argument being, I have businesses and all that, which I never had. And I never got any cent if I had that business. But eventually the minister, Mashabane, had to intervene to say, man, leave him. If there is anything wrong, we will bring him there. Yeah, that's how
And
I
that's how you
it.
went. All right. Before, I think lastly, what's the current situation? I know that the ANC during Thabo Mbeki, I think they got 65% nationally of the votes. I think people, South Africans still believed in the ANC. I think President Jacob Zuma came, I think it was 62%. President Ramaphosa came, it was 57%. And now after these regional elections, May, we noticed that ANC from 57%, their majority was reduced from 57% to 40%. They lost 17% of the majority. They lost the majority. People, South Africans didn't believe in the ANC anymore. What can we say about the current situation of the ANC, especially what is happening in the ANC today? What can you say regarding whatever that is happening today in the African National Congress?
I'll try to be short here because indeed it is tragic to see such a drastic decline in terms of support for the ANC. But many of the things are just as a result of own goals. When you begin to get in your organization and through that get into your government people whose sole purpose is self-aggrandizement, you must know that you are not serving the people. People might take time to realize your real intentions, but when they do, they will leave you. And the difficulty is that some of them might never return. So many people engaged in actions of corruption, actions of deceit, actions of lying to the masses, and all that. And in the process, they did not see the damage they are doing. But one other thing is that the ANC took upon itself men and women who were literally immature, who did not or could not understand the dynamics of society, who had no politics, never had politics, but never even engaged with social theories, never were able to conceptualize or envision as they get in there with the task of realizing the objectives of the organization through the money spot. It took them in. Others didn't even have a clue, could not read. And they are challenged and faced with documents and documents. You think those people can actually take the organization somewhere? They can't. So we got these people who were rushing. And, buying of membership and all those. That's the thing, those are the things. Political education stopped. Those who had the knowledge, the experience, were pushed aside, left there in the periphery of organizational activities. They could not provide the necessary input to the generations which are coming up. And some of the positions which we take on matters which are critical for the life and substance of our people are terrible, simply terrible, because they drive you to issues which are simple. Like, you find, people coming from outside, Pakistanis and what. Just overnight having, spaza shops and what. Whilst people who benefit from those foreign people, giving them something to make a living, the majority of the people find themselves at loggerheads with the views which are expressed there to say, let them continue, children are dying and all that, as a result of immoral, productions which are done in the corners there. I saw the other day, Makaka shit on the TV, Kahara the box, Adutsi Kamun. You see them peeing and taking out these things in the thick of the night, but for the whole day, as long as we allow our people to be, no matter how you can say attitudes towards them, by people in fact who come from other countries, not bringing in a skill which is in shortage, most South Africa, but a skill, so yema kamora countera or register coke. That's not a skill we want in South Africa. That is the things which we have to leave for the people of South Africa. They have been doing that in the past. True that, the cost of establishing businesses and all that has gone up. But it is incumbent upon the government, if it is committed to the thing of empowering our people to enter the economy, to be participants, and then be able to earn a living, to sponsor them, to give them money through the governmental structures which have been created. To say, no, let's give him, but not give money only, but also continuous training, because we come from a system which never wanted us to participate in business. We know very little. We need government, in fact, to intervene, and to intervene drastically. Let's not get into the argument that, they were catering for us when we were outside. That's deadwood. It would not work. We know that. We know who did it. We are quite appreciative. But those people in liberating us, they were liberating themselves. They are part of Africa. And Africa at one stage must actually unite. Yeah? The popular view amongst the people, ba hateletsweng, ba hlahang from the apartheid system subjugation, is that give us a chance to run economy, Yamori Dunante, help us with money. It's not question, no. You should say, let those people register. You are missing the point. They give your people an opportunity to do that work. Give them money to be able to do that work. That's my view. But the other things, which are going to be difficult. There must be clarity and a clear delineation and distinction in terms of policy between what we pursue as the ANC and the tendencies which are there in the GNU. The GNU is not a lifetime, or the ANC or the GNU should not be a frozen relationship between ourselves and those parties which are in there. It must just be a transition which is quick. And when we realize that, we'll then begin to do things better as the ANC. There's no respect. Our councillors are disrespectful, and they don't engage with people in the manner that shows empathy and passion and love for them. It is always about them. It is always talking to our own people. Any way they talk. We have Batupili principles on all that which government has come up with. They ignore that, and nobody does anything. But they must begin to involve men and women who are sitting there at the periphery with all the experience, all the knowledge, all the capacity to make the current incumbents better people, better able to serve the people. Thanks.